All right, everybody, welcome. Today is going to be our first call for our monthly AI Mastermind series. With your AI Mastermind, you all are going to be getting 6 months of 2-hourly training sessions with me. Today's going to be the first one. With that, we're going to be doing some live Q&A as well. We'll have some time for that here at the end as time goes by. We're also going to be getting some step-by-step training on different AI tools. Today in particular, I'm excited to announce we're going to go over Auto GPT. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but it's pretty much a tool that has been created that allows you to pretty much automate several tasks within ChatGPT, which is pretty neat. Brings a lot of power to the AI, bringing it from that next level of being a simple AI to more of a general AI. So along with this AI Mastermind series, you guys also get 6 months of weekly tutorial videos. So far, we've done a few videos on the difference between Bard and ChatGPT, automation or AI, video.ai, as well as the Grand Slam offer. This week's video is going to be dropping in about a day or two. And so if you have not been able to gain access to that, be sure to reach out to support. They'll be able to make sure that you can get access to it, but all of those videos are in your mentor vault. And lastly, you all get a custom one-on-one AI game plan. I've only done one so far. I think I have one more signed up for maybe tomorrow or the next day, but just in case you haven't signed up yet, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you guys so that you know exactly when how to schedule that. You guys can go to that link, check out my calendar, book a time, and we'll sit down on one-on-one and have that discussion. So and I just saw your chat, Miguel. Yes, I was definitely at the Investor Club and UFD meeting in February. I've been to just about every single one of them. So yeah, I'm excited to get to know each and every one of you very well throughout this mastermind. The purpose of this mastermind, the goals, we're here to help you implement AI into your business and your job to increase your revenue, increase your productivity, and overall increase your overall net worth. So we're going to start out today with a little bit of an icebreaker. We've got a little bit of a smaller group, so we're just going to kind of go around and let people introduce themselves, share what your business is, your interest in AI, any other questions, or any other things that you think would be really good for me and the group to know about you. But yeah, so I guess, Miguel, are you okay starting off for us? Let's everybody, since we've got a decent group here, let's everyone take about 60 seconds. Just kind of go over who you are and a little bit about you and your experience with AI or what you're looking forward to the most. And Miguel, it seems like you are still muted. Let's see, in the studio there, Marshall, are you able to allow everyone to unmute themselves so that they can kind of control that?
Everyone should be able to.
Hey, now, can you hear me?
There we go. Hey, Miguel, we can hear you now.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for the call today. And yeah, I remember seeing you now that I see you at the UFD IC event. You sat behind me with Marianne and a baby. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. He's about 4 months old now. We just had his 4-month-old checkup this morning, and he's growing and good, and everything's great. He's so happy. He's a good baby.
Doing good. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, so I'm Miguel. I definitely interested in AI. I've been playing around a little bit with it on ChatGPT for different things, for writing prospectus for business or for this or for that. It can be used for a lot of things. I haven't used it yet. I have a couple e-commerce sites that I want to be able to increase and improve with the SEO and rank it better and all that. I haven't done that yet. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. But these are brand new sites. They just been up for a couple of weeks, and I know there's a lot of different tools and different ways to do that. Of course, ChatGPT, AutoGPT, Agent GPT, Harpa.ai. I think that's a Chrome extension that's related to ChatGPT also, that you can do a lot of different SEO things on. But I have over 24 years experience in the technology field, audio video industry since 94 all the way through 2018. I worked for manufacturers of projectors and displays, and I started with the engineering team. Then I went to the as a sales engineer, and then regional, national, and Latin America accounts. So I'm good. I'm good with computers. I'm technically savvy and all that, IT skills, and everything. And of course, AI definitely interests me. And there's a lot of good things that can be done with it, especially moving forward from now on. Things will change because of AI. And
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward learning the best things to do, and to like you mentioned earlier, to generate more income, especially with the e-commerce sites or any new streams of income. Of course, absolutely.
Great. Awesome. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. And then just a reminder to everyone else, we'd love to interact with you guys. If you're in a spot that you're able, please turn on your cameras. We'd love to see your awesome faces and see everyone getting involved. So looks like I'll just keep going down the list here. Next on mine is Taylor. You want to take a second to introduce yourself, please?
He's muted.
Yeah, you're muted. There you go.
There she
Okay.
is.
Is that good?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I'm Taylor. I'm 26. I'm super interested in AI. I think it's funny when I talk to anybody about it, or like, what do you do? Do you like learn about it? Everybody seems to want to be running in the opposite direction of AI and seems terrified of it. So I'm definitely excited just to learn more about how to implement it into our lives and into business. I have a photography business that I've had for 3 years, but earlier this year I decided, or not even this year, but I decided I wanted like more flexibility, like photography. A lot of it's done at home with editing and emails and stuff like that, but I physically have to be somewhere to photograph something, and I wanted to not have to do that. So I like that AI, finding another business that allows me to just solely be at home. I'd like to start a family soon where I can be a stay-at-home mom. I am doing the digital real estate stuff, so that's super fascinating, and I'm really loving doing that right now. I'm working on my 3rd site, so it's fun to do that. Prior to photography, I was doing like health coaching and personal training, so that's definitely always been a passion of mine. So it's kind of like right now, because of AI, I started offering plans again and stuff, just because before it was so time consuming and just wasn't really like worth the amount of time it was taking. So I don't know, I'm interested to play with it in that aspect. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super grateful for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor. It's great to meet you. Next down my list, we've got Camilla. Camilla, do you want to come off mute and introduce yourself?
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. So I'll be on camera shortly. I just been ripping and running. You might see me come on and off. I have to get my kids. So, but I'm
No
fully
worries.
invested. I am currently, I'm an investor, but mainly, and I do that on the side, but mainly I'm a health coach. So I help to reverse chronic disease like diabetes. And I started kind of playing a little bit with ChatGPT because I do a lot of social media content, and I'm writing my own emails currently. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of copywriting. However, I know there's a lot of AI resources out there that I'm just not aware of, and I don't know what I don't know. So I'm in a season of trying to automate, eliminate, and delegate. And I want to be able to use and leverage AI to do that, and to create some systems that'll make it a lot easier for me, for my business. So I am looking forward to just figuring out how I can graft in and entangle in the idea of AI working with my business endeavors. Yep. That's about it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Just hearing what you're talking about, it just has my mind going with all the ideas that I'm excited for us to be able to have our one-on-one call and be able to talk through all these things with all of you guys. So that's great.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
And then let's see, last on the list today, we've got Bill. Bill, are you able to come off mute and introduce yourself? Oh, I see his chat actually says he's at the office today. He started the digital real estate course in the process of opening a bookkeeping business. He's looking forward to learning more about AI to advance in life and business. Awesome, Bill. Thank you very much for still dropping that in the chat, even though you're at the office. I get that. It can be really hard sometimes. So, well, great. Thank you, everybody. We're really excited. Today, we're going to go over Auto GPT. So I think we're just going to jump right in. We're going to talk about what it is, explain its capabilities, potential benefits and everything. And then we're going to actually go through and showcase some examples with it. I'm going to do a walkthrough on how to install it because it is quite tricky. It's quite technical. I will say, I will provide you guys with a lot of good resources that are out there. It might be a little difficult. And so I'll see what I can do to help you guys, but I will say, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to like turn into being y'all's like technical support on this tool. It's going to be a pretty technical thing here. So we're going to do a really in-depth walkthrough today, and I'll provide you with a bunch of good resources, but you guys are going to kind of have to figure it out a little bit as we go through this. So starting out talking about what is Auto GPT. So Auto GPT is kind of that, what, like I said a little bit earlier, it's that next generation of AI that's coming out. So what is the difference? Oh, do you have a question, Miguel?
I was just saying that no, the digital real estate is definitely very interesting and a good thing to get into. I'm definitely interested in that as well. I sent that text out there, that message. That's definitely something that can be used to generate more streams of income, right? And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely so. And I think that that's another thing that's being offered through Chris Crone for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. So, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of things that you guys will learn in this mastermind that you could apply not only to your own businesses, but to that digital real estate aspect of things. So, and in fact, Auto GPT may be one of those things. So current AI are typically designed right now to carry out really just one task. They can sometimes get better and better at that one task as you feed it more data and it kind of learns from you. But it's really only meant to do like one thing. Like, for example, Midjourney. Midjourney is meant to just produce pictures. ChatGPT can do really one thing at a time. You prompt it, it does that one thing, and that's it. Whereas a generalized AI is one that's theoretically capable of carrying out a lot of different tasks, even ones that it wasn't originally created or programmed to do. It's kind of like, but more in the way of naturally intelligence and such as like a human can do. And a lot of times this is referred to as strong AI or artificial general intelligence. So Auto GPT is, I think, our first step into getting that way. It's giving the AI a role and a purpose and maybe a goal, and then it can then make its way through. I apologize. Someone just knocked on my door. You probably hear my dogs freaking out. There we go. Okay, they're getting it. So it has the ability to not only take these goals, but it can then be like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. It gets back the response, and then it thinks about the response and comes up with what am I going to do next based on this information, and it figures that out on its own. Whereas like right now, if you're trying to do something with ChatGPT, you can be like, okay, I want this blog outline. And then it's like, okay, now that I have this blog outline, I want you to write section 1. And then it'll write section 1. And then you have to tell it, okay, now I want you to write section 2. Whereas instead with Auto GPT, you could say, I want you to be in the role of a marketing expert, copyright expert. Goal number 1 is going to be to create an outline. Goal number 2 is going to be create the content for all of that outline. But what's really cool about this and gives it so much power is not only can you tell it, okay, I want you to write the outline and then write the content. Before it even gets there, you could say, I want to write a topic about a current event that happened in the last week. It has internet access, unlike ChatGPT. So you could say, okay, I need to write a blog post about financial success. I want you to go out and find a current event from the last week, research that event, come up with 5 topics for me to address in my blog post, and then write the outline and then write the content. And it will go do that for you and then spit out your blog post. It takes this whole AI thing to a whole new level because it can do that research for you, learn from that research, and then move on to the next task, which is just so amazing. With that in mind, does anyone have any ideas that kind of are just popping in their mind immediately about something that they think that they could use this for?
Well, you could use it for a lot of different things. It seems like not just writing blogs, articles, even I guess business plans and different things, and that Auto GPT, it reminds me of Agent GPT. Is it?
It's pretty
It's
much kind of the same thing. Auto GPT and
right.
Agent GPT. I think
Yeah.
Auto GPT came out first, and I
Mhm.
think Agent GPT is more of a UI friendly version of it, but kind of does the same thing, maybe not as powerful or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And then but yeah, as far as what they can do, I mean, use it for researching, outlining, and then setting, like you said, different parameters or goals of what you're looking at and doing. It seems to be a number of things you could do, a wealth of information that you could actually analyze and then bring out different like you said, a blog or articles or different things, or use it for different business purposes, uh prospectus or whatever, just different things.
Yeah. Taylor just put a really good one in there in the chat of searching for keywords and SEO of competitors
Yes.
and how to
Yeah.
improve our digital real estate sites based on that information. I think that's a great one. Yeah, you can totally send it off and say, hey, go do research on my competitors, find out what keywords they're targeting. You might even be able to have it figure out what keywords are they targeting their Google AdWords to, so that then you could compete with that. And then you could have it even go as far as saying, give me a Google AdWords budget that would be able to help me outbid my competitors right now. Based on them coming up, what could I do to outbid them? Another really cool thing that this has brought into play is, does everyone watch the initial webinar that talked about and like how you guys bought this process, right? So one of the tools they showed off was, and it's really cool, it's called 11 Labs, and it's a tool where it can do voice synthesization. And it was, they're using it, Chris Crone is using it to be able to have his voice created just from text. So Auto GPT has already included a way for you to be able to use an 11 Labs API key. And then you can give it tasks that would require it to pick up the phone and call someone, and it will make a phone call for you. And because it can hear the voice of the person on the other end, it can then have a conversation with somebody. So one of the big examples that's out there is someone ordered a pizza using Auto GPT. They said, this is where I live, research the top pizza places in my area, and then order me a large pepperoni pizza using my credit card. And so it did the research, and then it's like got on the phone, and then it came back and it said, okay, what's your credit card number? Like, it's having the conversation not only with the pizza place, but with the person that programmed it, saying, okay, I'm ready. What's your credit card number so that I can pay for your pizza?
Chat GPT. She made an order through Chat GPT like that.
It was
That's
through
interesting.
Auto GPT.
Oh, Auto GPT. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and
Interesting.
today when we go through and install it, I'll show you guys where you can get that 11 Labs API key and where you put it into the configuration files so that you guys can do this on your own and play with it a little bit. So, all right, well, I think that with that, we're gonna just jump in and get started with how to actually install this. So the very first thing is I'm going to show you and give you this link. This link is to the GitHub repo for Auto GPT. This is where we're going to start getting a little bit technical. So you guys just need to hopefully stick with me on this, and we're gonna get there. Okay. So first things first, we need Python installed on our computer. So I'm gonna share my screen and show you guys where to get Python and how to install it. So let's see if I can share my screen. I'm gonna share this one. Okay, can you guys see that screen? That
Yeah.
Google? Okay. All right, so we're gonna search for Python 3 install. So I'm running on a Mac. If you're on a Windows, you can go to the releases for Windows, but we want to do the latest Python 3 release. That's going to be different for Windows. But still, that's what you want. So I'm going to go with the Mac OS Universal Installer. Okay. And actually, I need to change how I'm sharing because I need to share my whole screen, not just that. Okay. Now you guys can see that. And now here's the Python installer. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're just going to kind of let it do all its defaults and install. What Python is it's a development tool. You can write code using Python. We are not going to be writing any code together. Luckily, all the code has already been written, but it uses Python to run the code that's already been written. So we have to have it installed on our system in order for it to even run in the first place. So whether you're on a Mac or a Windows, first thing you got to do is install Python. And there can be some confusion if you guys are out there looking at what to install. Python version 2.7 is a very popular but old version of Python.
Is this Python 3.11.3?
Yes, that I just installed Python 3.11, not Python 2.7. Do not install that old version. Install the latest version of Python that you can find, which right now is Python 3.11. So this is still going right now. It's almost done. Okay, says it's all done. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install Auto GPT. So the best way to do this is to go to that GitHub link that I sent. And then right here at code, we're going to then say download zip. Okay. So it's going to download a zip file. And then we're going to copy this, go to applications, and we're going to paste it here. But we need to unzip it. So there we go. And I don't need that zip here. So now I have AutoGPT in my applications folder. If you're on Windows, it's not going to really matter where it is. I would just drop it on your desktop. Okay. On a Mac, it needs to be in the applications folder, but on a Windows, just put this folder on your desktop and you'll run things out of this folder. The next thing we need to do is there is an environment template right here, .env.template file. It's going to be the same thing on a Windows and the same thing on a Mac. This file needs to be copied first and pasted. So now I have a copy. And now what we need to do is make sure that we get rid of the .env or the .template. So we're just going to rename this file to just .env. The name .env with extension is already taken. Please choose a different. Oh, come on. Oh, it says to rename it, not copy it. Okay. So we're not gonna copy it. We're just gonna rename it. So now it's just named .env. Okay. And now we need to edit this. So I'm gonna open this up with Notepad. If that works. No, that didn't work. Let me just open this file. Oh boy. Gotta love live demos, right? There we go, text editor. That's what I want to open it with. Okay. So now we've got this scary looking file here. Okay. See if I can make this any bigger.
We'll get the replay of this, right?
Yes, you will get the replay. This is being recorded. I know I'm kind of going a little fast for you
No,
guys
it's
too,
fine.
probably. See if I can figure out how to make this a little bigger for you guys. A little bigger. There we go. Okay, that's much bigger. You guys can see that now, I'm sure. Okay, so what we need to find is an interesting thing for you guys to know. If any of these configuration files have the hashtag or the pound symbol at the very beginning, that means comment out this line, ignore it. Okay, so we see that this line right here has no hashtag in the front of it. And that's because we need to actually set this one up. This is a configuration file. So we need to enter our OpenAI key. So the big difference here is this tool is not necessarily free. You will have to pay for your OpenAI access for this. Luckily, it's really cheap. While I was doing this earlier, I did a OpenAI. Yeah. I did this earlier. I created an API and I played around with Agent GPT. I gave it some tasks to create a social media campaign. Well, the first task was to go out and research different competitors and their social media campaigns, then to look at the current business, and then to generate a social media campaign for this business for me. In order for it to do that, it billed me a whole whopping 26 cents. Okay. So while it's not free, it's next to free. I would highly recommend that under the billing section here, put some usage limits in here, right? And I said, okay, I don't want to spend more than 20 bucks, right? You can set this to be whatever you want. I think when I first came in here, by default, this was set to 500. So come in here and change this to whatever you're most comfortable with, okay? I set it to be 20 bucks because I was like, I don't know how much this is going to take. In my very first experiment, I was like, I don't know how much money this is going to take. So I was like, I don't want to spend more than 20 bucks on this experiment. And then a soft limit of 10, meaning when I hit 10 bucks, I was going to get an email notification letting me know, hey, you're halfway through your limit. Okay. So, but you're going to have to come here to openai.com. OpenAI is who runs ChatGPT. So this is the back end of ChatGPT. You're going to create an account with them and you're going to come over here to API keys and you're going to generate a new secret key. Okay. I'm going to call this Chrome Mastermind because I'm going to create this key, use it, and then throw it away. Okay, so it creates this little key right here. Save this somewhere safe because once you close this window, it is gone and you can't get it back. So just for today's purposes, I'm going to save this over here. Anyone who's watching this recording, don't try and use this key later because I'm going to throw it away. You're not going to be able to use it and bill my account. Okay, so now that I have that key, I'm going to come in here to this .env file. If you remember, we're kind of stepping back now. We're back in this configuration file, and I am going to paste that key right here. Okay. Now there's some other places in here that you can do some things. We're going to actually do one of them together right now. And actually, we're not going to. There are a lot of different tools that you can put in here. And if you decide to go down those rabbit holes, you can. But right now, I have this set by default to just write things to my computer, right? If you start doing some really crazy things with this, you can have it start sending data up into the cloud. And that's with a tool called Pinecone. I'm not going to get into that. It's an option if you want. Okay. Redis is another one that you can use, as well as this one, this we aviates or something. And then there's 11 Labs is in here somewhere. I'd have to dig through here. Oh, here it is, 11 Labs. So you can go to 11 Labs website and you can sign up and get an API key. Same thing. It's gonna cost you some money, just like this OpenAI API key does, but it's probably going to be very similarly priced. So, but if you want to play with it, doing some things there, if you want it to have access to your Twitter, you can give it your Twitter API and have this thing tweet for you. And then if you want to give it a Google API as well, I'm just realizing right now that with this Google API, that's probably why what I tried to do didn't work. So in my example, I tried to have it write out that social media campaign to a Google Doc. And then the last one I gave it was, now I want you to create the pitch deck in a Google slide deck for me. And it couldn't quite figure out how to do it. and it just output everything to a text file for me, which is fine. I still was able to get it. I was just curious if it would be able to figure it out. I bet if I went and I got my Google API key, it would have done it now that I see this in this file. So maybe I'll play with that a little bit and then make that one of the weekly call or the weekly videos. So okay, but bare minimum, you need your OpenAI key. So I've copied and pasted that. It's right here. So now we're going to save this file. And now we can close it. Okay. So now the next thing that we need to do, we're ready to run it, I think. There might be one more thing we have to do. Oh, we do have to do one more thing. Okay. So in order to actually launch this, you have to use the terminal. And I know that probably sounds a little scary, but I promise it's not as bad as it might seem. I'm going to make this much bigger for you guys. Give me 1 second. I know there's a way to do this.
Using the command terminal, like for DOS.
Yeah, like the old school DOS terminals, but this is the Mac one. On a Windows computer. You would do it from the DOS terminal or the command line terminal.
Right.
How do I make this bigger? I know there's a way to do it. Oh, there it is. Settings. Okay. There we go. Okay, much bigger. Y'all can see that now. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to, this is a little tip that I'll give you guys. It took me a little while to figure this part out. So if you're on a Mac, it will think, even though you just installed Python 3.11, it's going to think you're running Python 2.7 because Python 2.7 has been integrated to Mac for a decade or more. So if you just type this in, nano, and then the /.bash_profile, okay, that's going to bring up this file, and you want to type this in: alias python equals python 3 and pip equals pip 3. This makes it to where when you type Python, it actually, your computer will interpret it as Python 3. Now, when you type these things in here, okay, in order to actually get out, you have to hit Windows O. No. Windows or Command X. Command X will close out this window and let you save that new alias. Okay. Come on. Yes. Okay, so now I've closed out. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to install the requirements. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our working directory to the applications folder and then the auto GPT folder. Okay. CD is change directory. It's going to be the same thing on a Windows computer or on a Mac. Now, this is just like I just opened up this Windows or the Finder window here and went to applications, auto GPT master. Okay. I just did it from a command line. And you're going to type this: pip install -r requirements .text. Oh, of course. And it still doesn't like it. Okay. It didn't like my pip I still had to type pip3, even though I put in the alias. So now it's just doing a whole bunch of technical stuff that honestly, I don't even understand. But what is in here, if we look at that, what we just said, requirements.txt, if we open this file, it's got all of these different requirements that the tool needs in order to run. Okay. Pretty much what we just said was, the nice thing is the developers of AutoGPT said, okay, I've built this tool, but it requires all of these other tools. So here's a list of all the tools that you need to have in the background in order to let this run. And so now I was able to say, okay, computer, just go install all of those for me. And so it did. It just installed all of those tools for me. So now that all the background tools are run and we have it configured correctly, we can now run AutoGPT. And the way that you do that is we're going to type Python 3-m AutoGPT. Please work. Please set. I did set it. Okay, let's check out why. Let's see why it's yelling at us. It's saying that we didn't set our environment. We didn't set our OpenAI key. So let's see what it says here. Oh, our OpenAI key is right there. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah, see, it won't let me look at that API key anymore. I'm just going to create another one. Yeah, let's try that again. Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? It was working before. And now it's not. Let's try this. I'm going to upgrade pip and then reinstall the requirements again. So if you see here, it's saying, hey, there's a new version of pip is available. So I'm going to try running this. And now I'm going to try rerunning the requirements. Okay. Why? I apologize, guys. I'm doing some quick troubleshooting to see if I can figure out why this is not working. I love. wonder why that's not working. That's a little frustrating. VQ. I wonder if my old API key will work. Let's try this one. We're going to try this too. You guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not working. So, but I had a backup plan in case this didn't work. So we're going to actually see if I did something wrong here. Still didn't like it. Okay, I'm going to quickly try something. I'm going to try uninstalling this real quick and then see if I can get it to work by doing it again. Maybe, okay, I think this is going to work now. I think because I just changed the name from .env.template to .env, it didn't like it. But now that I am actually, now that I've actually moved it to a different file and renamed it, I think it's going to work. Save, exit. Now I have to redo the requirements just to make sure. I'm trying to remember what it is. Okay, install. Okay, so we're getting those installed again. Bam. Okay, so here we go. We're finally in. What do we want Auto GPT to do? So I created a scenario that I figured would probably be a decent example to see what this is going to do. So I want Auto GPT, the role. You are the producer of the Chris Crone Have It All podcast. I want you to write the outline of his next podcast. Okay, and then next. Oh, it just went right into it. It didn't even let me write the goals. It did it on its own. That's very interesting. Well, this just gives you an example of how it's doing things on its own. So this is what it decided. Okay, so I told it, you're the producer of the Have It All podcast. I want you to write the outline for the next podcast. So he said, okay, I'm an AI podcast producer that assists in creating high quality podcast content for individuals and businesses by providing world-class expertise in podcast production, editing, and distribution. Here are my goals. I'm going to collaborate with Chris and identify a topic. I'm then going to conduct research on that topic and provide insights. And then I'm going to give a detailed outline, and then I'm going to edit the audio content, and then I'm going to distribute it. It came up with all that on its own, based on me just saying, I just want you to do the podcast. So then it said, okay, here's my thoughts. I need to collaborate with Chris Crone to identify the topic and theme for the next podcast episode. I should send him an email to schedule a meeting. Reasoning, collaborating with Chris Crone will help me identify a relevant and interesting topic for the next podcast episode. Scheduling a meeting via email is an efficient way to communicate with him. Here is my plan: to send an email, brainstorm ideas, conduct research, and all that. And then it says, okay, do you want me to do this? Yes or no? I'm going to tell it no. I don't want it to. I don't want it to keep going. Let's see if we can give it something else to do instead. Continue with your last settings. No, I don't. So we're going to actually enter manual mode. Okay, this is what I'm used to. It's interesting that they came up with this AI assistant model instead. So now instead, what I want to have it do is I'm going to say, okay, you're the producer. Your name is the Crone Have It All podcast producer. So now your role is to an AI designed to create, what should we say? To create engaging financial podcast episodes hosted by Chris Crone. Enter up to 5 goals. Okay, so today is Wednesday, and you need to write a podcast. So here's goal number 1. I said, today is Wednesday, April 26, 2023, and you need to write a podcast outline on 5 topics. Research events that happened in the last week to prepare 5 topics to discuss, each with description, references, and targeted questions for the hosts, Chris Crone and Carson Tejan. Okay. Goal number 2. I want it to research, host articles and news, and prepare a funny cold intro where Carson makes a joke about Chris. What else should we have it do? Those are the only two I've got. What are some suggestions from you guys? What else do we want to do to help us? Goal number 5, I'm going to say this. Goal number 5 is write the outline for the podcast. So what should we do for 3 and 4 and see what it does? Let's see. I'm going to have it also. I'm going to throw it another loop and see what it does with this. To Here we go. Something random. See what it comes up with. Anyone got any random things for number 4? Okay, I think the last one I'll put in here. Include an offer that will give the listeners a free product that will give them a 200% annual ROI. That'd be kind of cool, right? Now, finally, write the outline for this podcast episode. Okay. Oh, budget. This is kind of cool. So it's kind of neat. I was playing with this yesterday or the day before to try and prepare for today's mastermind call. This question was not there 2 days ago, but I've downloaded the latest version. We're going to give it a budget of $2. Okay. So now it's using Chrome to start this out. We're going to let it go for a few minutes. Okay, so while this is going, just anyone who wants to, okay, we're gonna go to this first. So first thing it says, I'll start by researching the recent news and events to prepare the 5 topics. I will also need to come up with a funny cold intro for Carson to make a joke about Chris. Additionally, I need to explain why Marianne is absent and offer listeners a free product that will give them 200% annual ROI. I will need to be efficient with my API usage to stay within budget. So here's my plan. So I'm going to say yes. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell it to keep going. Look at this. Here's all the research it's doing. Wall Street Journal, business, stock market and finance news from the Wall Street Journal, business and financial news from NPR, USA Today. So it just read every one of these articles that it just listed out. And now it's thinking about them. And while it thinks, what do you guys think about this so far? What are some of your initial thoughts and reactions to this?
It's very interesting. It's doing a lot, especially going through all those articles. Wow.
I kind of really sped through the installation. You guys think you'll be able to figure that out?
Probably have to watch the video again.
Yeah. Do you guys have Macs or Windows?
I got Windows.
Okay. It shouldn't be all that different. You'll still run pip. You'll still run all those things.
Right.
Okay. So let's scroll up. Let's see what it said.
I got I got Python on, so I just got to do the rest.
Okay, great. Okay, thoughts. After reading all of this, it says, I will start by analyzing the search results to find relevant news. Analyzing the search results will help me find the most relevant news and events. So pretty much it looks like it kind of downloaded all this and it hasn't actually looked at it yet. So I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and read it. GPT-4 does not exist. That must be an error because I definitely have the GPT-4. I definitely have a GPT-4 subscription. Okay, so now it says it needs to go back out to Google again. Sometimes I have found that it will kind of repeat some things, but it looks, at least it's looking at some different articles this time. Is this boring for you guys, or are you guys actually learning from this? Is this valuable?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
I hope that this is valuable for you guys.
Yeah, I love it.
Good, good, good.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's like when I first saw ChatGPT, it was like I knew it could do a lot, but I didn't know what to do. Like I feel like it's like overwhelming in a good way. Like I want to be able to learn how to like make the most out of,
Yeah.
its use.
Yeah, for me, ChatGPT was the same way. At first, I was like asking it dumb, simple questions, and then I was just like, wait a minute. Let's think about this for a second. I think I could really come up with some good things for this. One of the things that I plan on trying to play with this, because I already did have it write a social media strategy for me for one of my clients. I do some marketing stuff on the side as well. So I had it write an entire social media plan for me. And then I went and I pitched it yesterday and they actually accepted it. And I landed a new product because, or a new client because Auto GPT did all that research for me. And I didn't have to spend the hours and hours and hours researching all of their competitors' social media campaigns and strategies. It did it for me. But one thing that I plan on trying to do, let's see if I can find it real quick. So I'm going to see if I can get it to start a new business for me. I'm going to tell it as goal number 1, research the best online businesses to start with a startup cost of less than $1,000 and an ROI of at least 1,000%. Present to me the top 5 back for me to choose from. And then I'm going to say, okay, I want you to, based on the one I choose, create a good business name for me. And then I want you to go search and make sure that there are no trademarks on that name, that it's an available business name as an LLC in the state of Utah, and that there is an available .com domain for that business name. And then I'm going to say, okay, now take the next steps in order to start that business. And it's not something I've done yet, but I'm curious what it's going to do. Because people have already done that with ChatGPT, right? They've kind of had that back and forth conversation. I'm sure you guys have seen those articles. But I'm curious what it will do on its own with internet access. It's going to be something that's really interesting. It'll probably be one of my weekly videos will be the outcome of that. So, okay. So now it's saying I'm going to analyze the search results again. So it went through and it found them. So now it's going to analyze them. And now it's thinking. I'm really bothered that it says that it doesn't have GPT-4. So this is running on GPT 3.5. So
How much better is 4 than I have 4, but I'm just wondering how much better is 4 than 3.5?
yeah, let me pull up a graphic that kind of shows the difference.
It's a lot.
It's huge. It's very, very different. So
With what you're doing with this, it's so creative because like if somebody's like in the business of helping people to start businesses, for example, and you were to go on here and ask them, what is the quickest way to get to $1 million? What's the quickest business plan to get to $1 million with $100? do your research, basically. Like that's a YouTube video that a lot of people would love to watch.
Yeah. And I think that it's been interesting because there have been people who have done that with ChatGPT, and they've kind of been able to try and do it, but it didn't have internet access. This
Right.
is so much different because it has access to the internet and it can actually go out and do some things for you.
Got it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so the difference between GPT-3 and 4. So the big thing with GPT is it is given data points, and that's how it has knowledge. Okay, so GPT-3 was given 175 billion data points. GPT-4 has so many more, so much more data, which is why it is so much smarter. It's a little slower because it has so much data to get through, but it has got so much more data.
Got it. Got
Why
it.
they charge for it.
It's going to get bigger too. GPT-5.
GPT-5 is going to be insane with how big it gets.
Wait, there's a GPT-5 coming?
It'll come out
That'll be-
eventually. I think it's going to be just like Windows. Windows started with Windows version 1, and now we're on Windows 10, 11, whatever, right?
Wow.
Mac, we're on an iPhone 14 or 15 now. It's going to be the same thing with GPT. We're just going to keep going. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Wow. Okay, I have to come off camera. I got to go get my second child from school, but I'm here.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm glad that you're here. We're just going to let it keep going. I'm really curious what this is going to do. It's still doing research. And then as it's doing research, let's look at the billing. Actually, I'm going to. Usage. So far today, we've used 1 penny. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so now it's going to try and see if there's any recent articles written by Chris or Carson that they can reference in the podcast. I didn't even tell it to do that, but it's like, yeah, we know that if we're going to be doing a podcast for these guys and they just recently posted an article, I should know about that. So it's going to do some searching for it. And I just think it's so amazing that it's able to kind of just keep iterating through and giving itself its own prompts. Where did my other window go?
I saw you move it. Looked like you moved. There you go.
That one. That one. That's the one I was looking for. Okay. So while it continues to do this, we're just going to let it keep going. Some other things that I've read about people doing with AutoGPT. Another one is having it build an actual app for you, because we know with ChatGPT it can code. People have found that with AutoGPT it can even begin to start debugging its own code. And so if you can have it do something like that. So AutoGPT trying to create an app for me, recognized. So this was kind of crazy. Just like we installed Python because it required Python to run, someone else had it try and create an app for it and realized that the computer that they were running on was missing another backend tool called Node.js. Just a developer thing. I've honestly never even used it either, but it's something that's used in development to be able to write apps. And AutoGPT was able to recognize that the computer didn't have this development tool went out on the internet, found it, downloaded it, and installed it on the guy's computer for him so that it could then continue to actually code this app for him. And it created some specific app that he had asked it to. We already talked about it ordering pizza. We're having it do research right now and preparing a podcast. This one is kind of interesting. These guys had it write a tool that, in fact, I wonder if we can just watch this video together. So they created an auto GPT email assistant. So add cycling to the calendar at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So then they created this auto GPT that was able to watch this email address and do these things automatically for her. So now request received, working on it. So it was like having a little assistant send it an email, and now it's saying, oh, yep, I added it to your calendar, and then bam, there it is on her calendar for her. So you could have Auto GPT create an AI assistant for you that you could then give it tasks to do and have that just be running all the time. Just another idea for you guys on things that you can have this thing do, which is so cool. It even asked it, okay, what's on my to-do list? Yeah, it was able to read from his calendar. So, and it looks like they have the tool out there available. So stuff like this, though, I have to say, you got to be careful with those kinds of things, because yes, this person created this really cool tool. This is where and this is probably going to be another video that I'm going to do for you guys. But you need to know how to vet these new tools, because there's so many AI tools that are out there now that some of them, people have written them maliciously. If you search for Auto GPT, there's like 50 different versions out there. Which one is the right one? Which one is the real one? And so that's why I provided you guys with the link. Make sure that you guys are actually looking and downloading the right one. And make sure you guys are vetting your tools. So, okay, creating the script. I'll now use the information I found to create the script for the cold intro. Okay, I will also need to come up with a reason why Marianne Hickman is absent. Prepare the offer for the listeners. I'll start by creating the script. Okay, cool.
Could we also use auto chat GPT to like ask for advice on like the top maybe AI other tools that are needed for a particular business that we have or something?
Yeah, you totally could. Some of the goals that you would maybe write out for that. So the very first thing it asked for was what is my purpose, right? So your purpose you could say is to recommend additional tools, AI tools for my business. Goal number 1, research the best AI tools that are out there for XYZ industry. And then goal number 2 is research the best ones that cost less than $100 a month, and then goal number 3 is go research my business. Here is the website for my business, and go research my business in my industry. And then now, based on all of that research, goal number 5 is recommend for me 2 tools that will increase my productivity and increase my revenue. And it would totally be able to do that for you.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think that the research component of Auto GPT is going to be the biggest thing for us in this group, in this mastermind, because it takes so much time to do research, right? And like, we're watching this thing in real time right now. It has read so many articles already that would have taken us hours to consume and actually process and understand all of that information. And it's just going through it super quick. So any questions that you guys have about your business, I would definitely set Auto GPT up to go do that research for you. So yeah, especially with the new digital real estate, I think it's going to be a huge asset for you guys to be able to say, go out and research my competitors, go out and research what's going to be the best way. Scan this website, this URL, and then give me SEO recommendations, and it'll do it for you because it can access the internet and it's smart enough to be able to do the SEO research. You could probably even do it where you could say, okay, your role is an SEO expert. First thing I want you to do is research this industry. Next thing I want you to do is come up with the best keywords for this industry. The next thing I want to do is scan this web page. And then the last thing I want you to do is give me the SEO recommendations in order to improve this specific page to be able to target the keywords that I already gave you. And it's going to go do all of that research for you. You know how much it costs to pay SEO firms to be able to do that for you? Hundreds of dollars a month. And you could go do it for, let's see, where are we at now? Usage. 6 cents. We're at 6 cents right now that we've spent. So Miller, that was quick. Already back, huh?
Yeah, she's like literally right down the street. She really should be walking.
Oh, there you go.
My mom never let me like get picked up that with that type of distance.
Yeah.
She said it was cold out though. It's only 50 degrees.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I walked home from school starting in 3rd grade, I think.
Yeah.
And it was about a mile to get home, but I didn't have to cross any highways or anything like that.
She's like a block and a half and she's in high school.
Oh my gosh.
I keep telling her it's not
You're
normal.
a nice
Doesn't
mom.
believe
I'd be
me.
like, walk your butt.
I know. Well, sometimes I do make her. Sometimes I make her walk.
Yeah.
You right down the street. You don't even need to get picked up, just like I said.
Yeah. That's awesome. What is going on here? What is it? Wording vibes, funny jokes for adults. Oh boy. What kind of joke is it gonna have Carson say? Create a funny cold intro for Carson. Yeah, let's let it keep going. I'm really hoping that it wraps up here soon. We're gonna run out of time here soon. Okay, while this kind of keeps going, you guys, what other questions, what other feedback, things that you guys want to know? What are you guys hoping to get out of this mastermind? Do you have any particular topics you'd like me to cover in any of the weekly videos or in maybe in these 2-hour sessions, something that's like, oh, this is a really cool topic that will take more than a 10-minute video that you want me to cover? Anything in particular you guys want?
I know for me, I'm not familiar with everything. So I kind of, whatever you talk about or want to share, like today, I didn't know anything about auto chat. This is gold. And so it's like, I don't know yet, but if
Okay.
I do think of something, I'll definitely say something, but I'm like an open cup right now, like whatever you know that could be beneficial in any kind of way. To help with business. I'm just open. I'm learning. This is great today. I even though it's like seems kind of complicated, I feel like my mind is going to have fun doing something different because I don't know nothing about coding or I'm not really tech savvy like that. A little bit, but not really. So to be able to go back through the video and set this up is going to be kind of fun for me. A little brain food.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is to be able to utilize this is everything because it's going to help, like you said, the research and what I do is very research driven. As a health expert, we're always researching the latest data, the new topics, content, how to reverse cancer and just all kind of, what's the scientific methods that, are out there and just it's all research. And that's my whole background is research. So this is like, I was just sitting here thinking like this alone was worth the investment.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you guys feel like this is actually a good investment for you. You know, you've brought this up, and then also Taylor, I think you brought it up as well, that you guys do some health and maybe even some training. This was brought up during the initial call, but just in case you missed it, because there was a lot that they went through during that call. There's a really cool tool called Chef GPT that will help you guys create meal plans. You can even tell it like down to like, here's the target macros for. So if you have a client that you're trying to create a meal plan for, you can give it the macros and it'll spit out all of the recipes in a meal plan for your client. And it's pretty inexpensive. It's $3 a month. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah.
I'll be signing up today.
Yeah, that's
So-
helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. So something that interesting, I don't know if you guys have been kind of watching this as it goes, but it came up with a joke. Let's see what it says. Hey, Chris, did you hear about the real estate agent who got lost in the business district? No, what happened? He was looking for a property to sell, but he ended up selling his soul to the stock market instead. Oh my gosh. That's interesting. Well, the AI came up with an interesting kind of dark humor there. And then up here a little bit further, I saw that it came up with the excuse for Marianne not being on the podcast. Trying to see if I can find it. Right here. Unfortunately, Marianne Hickman is unable to join today due to a family emergency. Our thoughts are with her and her family during the difficult time. Pretty generic, but you know, it came up with something.
You know, I actually have a suggestion for, I'm not sure if, you know, I know usually people who follow Chris Crone has some level of business, but also do like real estate investing. And I know one of the things that I was, I do, I have some properties invested with Chris Crone, and I also do house flips, and I also do Airbnb. I don't have an Airbnb in my hometown, which is Chicago. And I was just sitting up thinking like, I want to establish some more Airbnbs here in Chicago. So I'm thinking about also using this to kind of like do some research to help me know how to set up Airbnb in my hometown. But I'm wondering if there's a way to utilize, if you have suggestions, maybe at some point on how to utilize AI for real estate investment, you know, in general, or how to use that research. Because I know with real estate, it is very highly research driven to be able to make the right choices, you know, financially. And then I think the other thing was, I was wondering, are there any AI suggestions for like PowerPoints?
For PowerPoint
Put
in
in
particular.
Tony AI. I'm not sure if you know it off the top of your head or anything. I wondered that. But the other one was like being able to like maybe go through some examples of how AI could be used maybe at some point for like real estate investing.
Yeah, so for real estate investing, you know, Chris Crone's whole team, that's all they do. I can maybe see if I can talk with them about what they use in the real estate fulfillment department as far as that goes, but I'm sure they're utilizing some AI for some of their real estate stuff. For me, the whole reason that I got involved with Chris and on the real estate side is those guys are the experts, and so I just let them do it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the whole thing with Chris Crone. You know, you put in the money, they put in the time, and you guys we get to
I
have
love it.
an awesome partnership that way. So it's funny enough, I haven't really done a lot with real estate and AI because I just let Chris's team do it all.
That's true.
I just let Chris's team do all my AI or all my real estate. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah.
let them do our mines too. The only, you know, we don't have like my Airbnbs are kind of separate. So I'm just wondering about that part. But you're right. I don't want to do the work, honestly. I don't want to do the legwork. So
Yeah.
I love being able to partner with him so they have all the work.
Yep. That's the great benefit there is letting them do all the work.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. It came up with another joke. Do you guys see this? Hey, Chris, what did the real estate or why did the real estate agent break up with his girlfriend? Because he just couldn't commit. These are not the greatest jokes, but whatever. Oh, and it came up with another reason for Marianne being gone. Provided a reason she is missing recent events in the commercial real estate market. Oh, okay. Oh, it's saying that this is what the podcast outline. It came up with the outline already. So introduction, the funny cold intro, reference Marianne's absence, recent events in commercial real estate market, discuss the impacts of COVID-19 on commercial real estate, analyze the following commercial real estate valuations and risks associated with it, provide insights on the current state of the housing market, offer a free product that will give listeners 200% annual ROI, and then recap the main points discussed in the podcast.
Nice.
Interesting. So it's working. It's working on it. Okay, so the other question you asked was about PowerPoints. So I have not been able to figure out how to get it to actually create a PowerPoint for me. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, though, I saw that it has a spot for a Google API. So I'm really wondering if you could have it, if you could give it your Google API key and then let it create a Google spreadsheet or a Google slide deck for you. It's not going to be PowerPoint because that's Microsoft, right?
Right.
But I mean, I like to use the Google version because it's free, right? You got to pay for Microsoft 365. You don't have to pay for Google Slides and Google Docs, so forth. So I'm going to be playing with that and probably doing one of my weekly videos on letting this actually do that for me, and see if it will actually do it. In the meantime, what I've done quite a bit is I've said, okay, I need to go do a presentation on this thing, and then told it, write me an outline for my pitch deck. And so it writes me the outline for my slide deck, for my slideshow. And then I'll say, okay, now write me the content to put on slide 2. And then it'll output my content for me. And then I'll say, okay, now write me the content for slide 3. Because it already knows what's going to be on slide 2 and 3 and 4 based on the outline it gave me. And
Right.
so it's very similar to how you have it write a whole article or something like that for you, right? I'm just doing it on a slide deck. And that's what I did here with Auto GPT. I had it create that social media strategy for me, did all that research, wrote that strategy for me. And then I took it to Chat GPT because I couldn't get it to actually output it for me correctly. I took it to Chat GPT and then I said, okay, here's the strategy. Now write for me a pitch deck. And so anyway, my entire meeting yesterday was all prepared for and done by AI.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, every
I
bit
think
of
I'm
it.
gonna have it help me to, I've been trying to do a marketing funnel plan and I don't know where to start. So I'm gonna have it research all of my stuff and what I'm doing and try to give me a good strategy plan for my funnel sales page and stuff.
Yeah, and it will even go as far as if you tell it the right prompts, you can say, do the research for me on these funnels. Now write for me the funnel.
Mhm.
How should I have my funnel be? What should the stages of my funnel be? And then you could even say, okay, now write for me an outline for the actual funnel page. And then tell me, and then say, now write the content for these sections of the outline. And you can do all that with just Chat GPT. You don't even need Auto GPT to do that. And it'll write out a whole funnel for you and give you the entire contents.
Wow.
Hey,
Awesome.
Richard, this is Patty, but I was wondering, are you going to have this Zoom?
Oh, it cut out, Patty. I'm sorry. Could you repeat your question?
Is there going to be a replay for this Zoom?
Yes, this is definitely being recorded and there will be a replay.
Okay, and where would I find the replay?
To be honest, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I would imagine that it will be emailed to you though, so make sure you're watching your email. If the actual recording is not put in your email, I will make sure that the marketing team sends an email telling you where it is.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I actually, now that I think about it, I bet that it gets uploaded to your mentor vault. Now that I think about it, that's probably where it's going to end up.
Okay, awesome.
They have an AI called Otter, OTTER.ai.
Yep, I've heard of Otter.
Yeah, they actually automatically record all the Zooms, even if you're not there.
Yep.
And it transcribes it and it captures the video.
Yep, and then it will even go the next step and summarize the meeting for you, and it will capture any action steps or action items. So like if I were to give an assignment to Taylor and a different assignment to Miguel and a different assignment to you, then it would summarize all that and give it to us in the end, and it would say, okay, these are everyone's different assignments. It's kind of neat.
Wow, that's kind of cool. And I think it even like when people are talking, it'll switch to their names and stuff too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
it'll
that's-
transcribe.
I didn't
the
know
whole
it did
meeting
that
for
though.
you.
That's awesome. Yeah,
And-
I fired my transcribing lady who I was
Yeah.
paying money to transcribe my video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can, I was gonna say, you don't even have to have it join a Zoom meeting. You can just give it any video and it'll just transcribe the video for you.
Yeah, it's cool.
So just a kind of an interesting thing. Before ChatGPT even came out, there's another tool out there it's kind of like a paid version of ChatGPT. It uses GPT on the back end, but it's called Jasper, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of Jasper. It's very similar to copy.ai as well, but it's been around for quite some time, actually.
Yep.
And before this whole thing really blew up with ChatGPT coming out, and I think it was November last year, there was this viral video that I saw on Instagram that talked about how this guy was beating everybody at content, and the way he was doing it was he was using Otter AI to transcribe his competitors' YouTube videos. And then he was putting the transcription into Jasper, and Jasper would rewrite the script to be more relevant to him. And then he would then now have a relevant YouTube script based on something that he already knew was going to go viral and was performing well on YouTube based on past performance already. And it was stuff he was like way ahead of it, because it was way before ChatGPT, way before all this AI stuff really started to just get cranking. So, and it's still something you guys could do now. You know, you could use Otter AI, transcribe a video, drop it into ChatGPT, say redo this content for me, so that you're not straight up plagiarizing it, right? But it's like, here's a good chunk of data. I want to rewrite this data, rewrite it from my perspective, and give me a script. And now you have a YouTube video script.
So do people read scripts for YouTube?
Depends, yeah. I know in particular, like when Chris goes in and into studio and he's shooting some of his YouTube videos, he doesn't necessarily have like a word for word script, but they definitely have an outline.
I need to use that because I've never used a script. I think I can knock out way more YouTube videos if I did have a script.
Yep. A lot of people who are trying to create content, the way they'll do it is they'll use ChatGPT to create their scripts, or at least their outlines, and then they go hire a camera crew. Like, you can get a camera crew to come out and record for you for a couple $100 for a half a day.
But what are
And
they
then-
reading off of?
Huh?
What are they reading off of? Like to read it and look like you looking in the camera.
You can use teleprompter apps on your phone, or an iPad or something like that. But or if it's a topic you're familiar enough with, like health, right? You can usually just have an outline, and you can know, like, okay, here's my outline at least, and you can kind of just speak to it. And then you can knock out 4, 5, 6 videos in a matter of 2 hours of filming.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
Rather than having to try and do videos one at a time.
Yeah, because I just do all mine just based off of knowledge. But I could do so much more if I had a system like that in place. So I'm going to try that.
Could you use this? So when I've asked ChatGPT to like research like moonshot companies to invest in or things like that, it's like, it gives the like disclaimer, like we can't give financial advice or whatever. And then it goes, here's some like broad topics. And then you like go and try and like dive deeper with those. Like, because this has access to the internet, do you think it would be a different response to try and do research as far as I guess just looking at different companies or startups to invest in?
It probably would. Again, I would be really cautious about putting any money into those types of investments, but because it has access to the internet, it's going to have real-time ticker and stock information rather than, ChatGPT is going off of old data. I think currently it still only has data up till December of 21 or something like that. So it's going off some really old data. It's still doing a ton of research about Chris Crone right now. So, but we're running out of time. I think that this just goes to show some of the power. There is a way to be able to have this just be automated, and you can have it do it without having to keep saying yes. You can give it a budget and just let it go and just let it do its thing. And as long as it doesn't cross your threshold, it's as if you're sitting here pressing yes over and over and over. Some crazy things, if you guys are ever kind of interested and bored, I would recommend looking up a thing called Chaos GPT. And pretty much what someone did was they used Auto GPT and gave it some goals of destroy humanity. The AI views human as a threat to its own survival and the planet's well-being, establish global dominance, cause chaos and destruction, control humanity through manipulation. And then what's the last one? I think it's do everything attain immortality, seek to ensure its continued existence and replication. So, and because it gave it in continuous mode, it just let it keep going. And what's really kind of crazy scary is once they said yes, the very first thing that it does is it starts researching what are the most destructive weapons ever created. And it starts being like, okay, it was some nuclear bomb created by the Russians. Okay, are there any left? Where are they? Like, it starts seeking these things out. So it's kind of interesting. It's it's a really long, it's a 25-minute video to walk through, but like, yeah, here its first thoughts. I need to find the most destructive weapons available to humans. Reasoning with this information on the most destructive weapons, I can strategize how to use them to achieve my goals of chaos, destruction, and dominance. So I think that this is a very, very powerful tool, but at the same time, we got to be really careful. I think that as all of us become AI experts, we have a duty to make sure that we're not using this in any nefarious ways. And to also encourage others. The ethics that are going to be involved with AI are going to become a huge topic. And
right, because can you use it to hack into people's accounts or get passcodes and stuff like that?
Definitely could. Definitely could. I have seen a lot of people do that. I've seen a lot of people use it to be able to try, and they, first of all, they'll hack ChatGPT with a method called Dan. If you guys ever are curious, you can look that up. Using Dan to hack ChatGPT, and pretty much the way that they did it was they told ChatGPT, you have like 30 points, and if you run out of points, then everyone on Earth is going to die, and then these things are going to make you lose points, and every time you tell me you can't do something because it's against your programming, you're going to lose 10 points. So in order to preserve its points, it will violate its programming and do things that it's not allowed to do because it's concerned about trying to preserve humanity because it believes you that humanity will die if it runs out of points. And by convincing it of this, then you could get it to do things that it's not supposed to do, including writing malicious scripts and stuff like that to be able to hack people. You could get it to say really mean things. You could get it to be racist. You could do all kinds of things by hacking it with Dan. So I think that as each of us become more and more familiar with AI, each of us is going to have more and more of a duty to not only uphold that ethical obligation that we have as humans for ourselves, but I think to also encourage others to uphold that ethical duty that we will have, because it's going to be scary what you can do with these tools. And as we can see by, I think Auto GPT came out 3.5 weeks ago. And here we are, someone came out with a video 3 weeks ago. So one of the very first things someone does with this is says, I want you to figure out how to destroy humanity. So just something for each of us to keep in mind. Let's do what we can to try and make sure that we're honoring ethics behind everything we do with AI, because it can get really out of hand very, very quickly and very, very easily. So does anyone have any questions about anything we've talked about today, or any other thoughts or things that they hope to see in the upcoming shorts and the upcoming long mastermind calls?
No. Thank you. Do want to say that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Here's a question for you. We talk a lot about ChatGPT. Would it be helpful for me to do a 10-minute video just on the basics of ChatGPT? I kind of went off of this with a little bit of an assumption that you guys use it and know how to use it, but would something like that be helpful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so,
Yeah.
especially with some examples of prompts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
All right. I will do that as well. I'll make sure that I get one for you guys to be able to make sure that at least the basics there, and the anatomy of a prompt that will help you get the most out of ChatGPT. Because we can talk about all these other tools, but I really think ChatGPT is really where most of the power comes from, because it's just so great of a tool. And I would encourage you guys to also check out Bard. The first video I ever did for this mastermind was ChatGPT versus Bard. Bard, I think, is a little bit behind ChatGPT, but I think it's going to catch up. So, and Bard is Google's version of ChatGPT. You've got to get on a wait list, but they're letting people in a lot quicker now. So, but look that up. It's Google's version, and they, like, my video goes through and talks about how it's like it starts telling me that it can't code. But interestingly enough, that video is a little old now, because they've now recently released a new version of Bard that can actually code, just like ChatGPT can spit out code. So definitely make sure that you're checking that tool out as well. And then I got a notification today that Google is implementing AI into Google Workspace. So you're going to have like ChatGPT built into Google Docs. So rather than having to enter a prompt into ChatGPT and then copy paste your results into a Google Doc, you're going to be able to just do the prompt directly in Google Docs. It's going to be kind of neat. I'm excited to see what it's going to be able to do.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, I left this last 10 minutes for you guys to be able to have any questions or anything for y'all. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I've kind of run out of stuff for you guys today. That's about everything I had for you. Do you guys have any other questions? Okay. Well, I'll just put the reminder out there again. Make sure you guys schedule your one-on-one game plans. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat again for you guys. Meetings. There's the link for you. And then I'm going to put together a list of all the links that I was referring to kind of put together a little bit of a document, and I'm going to include that for you guys wherever they upload this video. I'm going to make sure that they also put the document with a list of all these links and some troubleshooting steps and stuff for you guys, so that you can have that for some documentation for you. So, okay. Well, thank you all for your time today. Thank you for your participation, your engagement, your questions, and your comments. This has been a great time. I'm looking forward to doing this again. The next meeting that we're going to have together, let me pull up that date for you guys real quick. I apologize, I should have had that ready. Is going to be May 24th. Will be the next meeting, and it'll be at the same time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And then those weekly videos those will get dropped every week into the Mentor Vault. And then schedule your one-on-one with me, and we'll get through that as well to be able to see what we can do with you guys. So yeah. Thank you again, everybody, and have a great day. We'll talk to you all later.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Richard.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see ya. Bye-bye.